Hey guys, Tactics again with another video. Today I would like to show you a new deck. This is one I actually got from Ash, Clash with Ash, who's a YouTuber. He had a pro guest on his channel, and he showed this deck, and instantly I thought it was something that would be very viable, and I've been using it, and instantly it's been a huge success. So I want to kind of take you over that deck while I talk to you a little bit. I have some notes written this time, so hopefully we can stay on task a little more and be a little more efficient in the video. There's a background game I'm going to run for you, and then there's about 6 different meta decks that I faced between these few challenges that I did with it. I did 3 different classic challenges. I got 12-1 my first time, 8-3 the next time, and then 12-0 the third time. So these are just various games from that. So this is the deck I'm using. It's 4 legendary deck, including the Princess, Ice Wizard, Night Witch, Log, 2 epics, being the Lightning Tornado, I have the Hog, and a Skeleton. So you'll see here, the first game I'm going to show is just because the last video I made was off of the Miner Ram deck, so I just wanted to show this game. There's a 4,600 player playing it, so I figured that'd be a good game to have going in the background while we kind of talk about this deck. So the first thing I want to go over is the strengths of the deck. Basically, it's really strong on defense. Some of the strong defensive cards include the Night Witch, the Tornado, of course. That's one of my favorite cards right now, and the Ice Wizard. So those are 3 very good defensive cards. The next strength would be it's a 3.3 elixir deck, so it's great for cycling hogs. So not only is it really great defensively, but it also can be very good offensively through the cycling of hogs. Obviously, everybody's noticed that Night Witches are everywhere now, especially in tournaments, because a level 1 Night Witch is great, whereas in ladder play you might want it to be level 2, level 3 or so, based on your whatever rating you're playing at. Sometimes level 1 isn't getting it done because fireballs one-shotted and whatnot. So Night Witch is super strong in balanced gameplay, which shines in the tournament bracket. So this deck is anti-Night Witch. So that is probably one of its biggest strengths, since we're seeing the Night Witch everywhere. The reason I say that it's anti-Night Witch is the Ice Wizard one-on-one with the support of a tower will kill a Night Witch with like 80-90% health left. So the Ice Wizard alone is super strong against the Night Witch one-on-one. Obviously, most of the time, the Night Witch is going to be supported by something else, in which case the support card you'd want to use for your Ice Wizard is your Princess. The Princess does an outstanding job of it keeps killing those spawn bats. So the fact that the Night Witch is, by some, considered overpowered because of all those spawn bats, the Princess completely negates that. So yeah, this is a great anti-Night Witch deck if you're having trouble with it. The other strength of this deck is its openers. You can get some super, super strong openers. I mean, plenty of games I've taken half the health of the tower out just in my opener. Mostly that opener comes from a counter attack. Sometimes it can simply be a straight attack if they start out with something like a pump or something. So some rules for this deck, I'll try to go through quickly since this game's ending. Try not to open with Hog. You want to kind of hide that you're using the Hog. It's best used in a counter attack, especially early, because they don't know you have it. So obviously that's going to The element of surprise can be really huge with that. When attacking alone with the hog, just a straight hog attack, you want to support that with either a log or lightning, based on kind of maybe the prediction that you think they're going to use. You typically want to use Night Witch for defense. Oftentimes put the princess in the opposite lane that you're actually attacking. If there's a pump in the middle, try to get a hog lightning push with it. So those are my main tips right away. Hope you enjoyed the background game. I'm going to get to the first game that I want to show you. It was my first 12 wins with the deck today. And as you'll see by the title, I did this with intentions of making the video. So the first 12 wins came from a 4,900 player playing a Three Musketeer deck, which I oftentimes have trouble with. So let's see how this one went down. So again, following, we'll kind of walk through some strategy here. So following those rules, you want to hide your deck. You want to hide what you're playing. Since pretty much every deck is using Night Witch, it's safe to play that Night Witch. It's not going to tell your opponent what deck you're using, because you could be using any deck when you play the Night Witch. Another rule was when you see a pump in the middle, you want to attack it. So decent lightning value. Obviously the lightning, most of the value came from getting the pump and obviously the damage, the standard. But if he would have tried to, use a Mega Minion or something like that to stop, or maybe even a Night Witch to stop that hog attack, we would have got an amazing value from that lightning. So here comes the Three Musketeers, and this will show you just how strong defensively this deck is. Normally, Three Musketeers just gives me absolute fits. So the strong opener, it shows the strong defense there, and then coming up there'll be a lightning bait that we avoid. As a Three Musketeer player, you want to try to bait out the fireball or the lightning or the poison, and then you lay your Three Musketeers, and you're hoping that your opponent just doesn't have an answer for it at that point. So I am aware of that. I play this deck that my opponent is playing as well. So I'm conscious of that. His probably biggest issue was he didn't have very good rams. I think he's trying to use that principle like, oh, I don't want to play my Three Musketeers yet because my opponent still has lightning in hand, which obviously I'm doing that on purpose. I want to keep my lightning in hand to make him scared of playing his Three Musketeers. So he says, here, I need to play my Three Musketeers, so he puts down that knight as kind of a lightning protector. My lightning would have hit the tower, would have hit the knight, and then there it would have hit the ram. All three of his musketeers would have lived. So what I'm doing is I'm just chip cycling. Chip with the log, hit with the princess, I'm cycling back to another log. So I pretty much, and then the tornado completely wipes it out. So he tried to bait my lightning. I was smart enough to not let him bait that. And that's pretty much going to be game. I mean, time's running out on him. He doesn't have time to do another attack. So that was pretty it. Just understand your opponent's goals there and don't let him accomplish it. It was pretty much as simple as that game was. So we'll let it finish out. And we'll go on to the next game. So the next meta I want to show you, we have a giant graveyard deck that we went up against. So I will try to find that one for you real quick. It's a player called Inchuwa. There it is. So he's playing giant graveyard. He's currently 4,300 this season. He's been 4,462 playing this deck. I got the 3-0. Might not have been 3-0. He does give up. But, I mean, by the time he gave up, I easily had this one. So, Either way, I won this. This was potentially my most dominant game of all the games we're going to see. I debated not showing it, but this is the only good high-rated player that I played playing Graveyard, and I wanted to kind of show you all the different metas. So I threw a Graveyard game in here. So here I get split lanes. I want to hog push away from that bowler, and I get a Great Lightning here. It would have been even better if I could have got that Mega Minion as well, but remember, one of those strengths was strong openers. Doesn't get much stronger than that in the opener, so mistime those skeletons a little bit. He'll get 2 hits off on my tower, I believe. If you do that correctly, he'll only get 1 hit off on the tower, potentially not even any hits. I know when I play Splash Yard, people give me fits with those skeletons when I play the bowler. So here he caught me off guard. I get pretty lucky that a skeleton hits my king tower. So far things are going my way. He does get a lot of damage here, but I'm going to get a great counterattack. I mean, he's down to 4 elixir, and I have all of that coming at him. So this game's looking real good right now. So counterattacks with hogs is huge. I think in some of the later games, you'll kind of see a really good counter hog push. But you got to keep in mind, the reason I'm in that position is I don't play too many cards defensively. I play enough cards to get the job done. That way I'm not wasting elixir that I didn't need to play. That way I have, the hog and hopefully a lightning, or a hog and a log, something with a hog and some kind of support. And that's the point when he gave up, because he knew that Night Witch was going to take care of his giant. He didn't have anything left for me, so I'll just fast forward through the rest of this to show that it was a good game, and it is over. All right, it's doing well, moving along. The third game, I debated showing this one or not too. There's 3 different spell log bait games that I played. This one versus Reignor. He's a 4K player playing log bait. There's several different log bait games that I won, like 3 different ones against around 4K players. I thought about making a part 2 video of just log bait games, just because there were so many of them, but I decided to just pick the best one and make a longer video in this one. So I hope I can keep your attention span through the whole thing. So typically log bait decks, the reason they're called that is because they're trying to bait your log, right? So here's my really good counterattack, then we'll get back to that. So he threw that attack. It looked really scary up front. I defended it with only Night Witch and only skeletons. This allows me to have a huge counterattack. I still have lightning up. So Night Witch, hog, lightning, pretty much, if I would have used extra cards there to defend, I wouldn't have had a lightning for that Inferno Tower, and that counterattack may have gotten no damage at all. Because I was stingy with my defense, I was able to get a huge counter push there. So just huge tip there. Okay. Shoot, I forgot what I was trying to talk about before now. You want to save the log for the Goblin Barrel. That's the reason it's called a log bait deck, is because it's trying to bait your log to kill its princess, to kill its goblin gang. Some people use Skelly Army. Sometimes they'll overlap their Skelly Army and their princess to be like, oh no, I hope you don't log me. And then you log them like, yeah, I just got 6 elixir of your troops and it only cost me 2 elixir. I'm such a good logger. But remember, this is a log bait deck. What he did is bait your log. So where you think, oh yeah, I just got this big elixir advantage, you actually hurt yourself, because that Goblin Barrel is now going to hurt you here in a couple cards. So got to be really mindful to save that log for the Goblin Barrel is what I'm trying to say. What you see there, though, is that I knew I was going to get such a good attack that I pre-logged because I knew like Goblin Gang was coming out. So I got such a good attack that I was able to justify letting him get some damage on my tower just based on how good of an attack I was going to get off of using my log offensively. So your second counter cards is what I'll call them is obviously my first counter to Goblin Barrel is going to be the log. My second would be the tornado. I didn't have that up either, so I had to use my third counter, which was skeletons, which obviously turned out fine. But that's my advice for you, just in general, any deck you're playing versus log bait is don't get your log baited. Simple, right? If you can do that, games aren't too hard. That deck is so popular, though, I know it's given a lot of people fits because I see it all the time, so clearly it's working. Alright, so here's a Lavaloon game. I wanted to show one of those just with all the trouble people have with Lavaloon, myself included. Here's a 4100 player playing Lavaloon. With a Valkyrie and goblins. Don't see that too often, so this is his take on what a Lavaloon looks like, and we'll see how that works for him. So one tip for this game, you'll see it early. Sometimes you want to cycle my skeletons. I chose to start with my Night Witch for the same reason I said before. You can play your Night Witch and you can be playing a bunch of different decks. So it doesn't give away my deck. I feel Night Witch is just fine. Then it saves my skeletons if somebody's playing P.E.K.K.A. or whatever. Then I still have skeletons for defense, elite barbs, that sort of thing. So he played his Lavaloon opposite lane of my Night Witch. So I counter pushed pretty hard on my Night Witch side. So his Lavaloon couldn't get much support. So that was my strategy there. That way he doesn't have enough elixir to put down that balloon because he's spending his elixir defending his opposite lane. That's kind of what you want to do with Lava Hound decks. That's what you want to do with Golem decks. It's what you want to do with beatdown decks in general when you have a low elixir deck like I do. This is, again, a 3.3 elixir deck. My advantage is that I can cycle. So when he lays a heavy card like a 7 elixir Lava Hound or an 8 elixir Goblin or Golem, you want to punish him in the other lane. So let's see what else I wrote down here. So I guess the next big moment comes with about 43 seconds left, so we'll have a little time to get there. He catches me kind of wasting elixir here for the next 20-30 seconds, and then he gets a good little push going. The reason he caught me wasting elixir is because I used that lightning there, which I stand by. I think the damage I got out of that lightning was actually really clutch. I don't think that's a all-the-time move you should make. It was just something I felt that would work at the moment, and I still feel that I was right about that. So I'm happy with that play. So this is scary. Obviously, you see my hand. I don't really have much to defend this. Because he played that Mega Minion, it gave me really good value out of my lightning. And then I try to stop the balloon here. I am not able to. So he does get a tower. But I don't panic. I even throw him a little well played because he caught me with a hand that I couldn't defend, and he had enough elixir to get that balloon down. But I don't panic. I let the bats and the princess go at it. Didn't take much damage there, and I keep counterattacking. And now I have that tower down to 452. With a log, I have the tower down to 356. Lightning does 340 damage, so I'm about a log and a lightning away from winning this thing. So I know I just need to defend one more time. He knows he needs to win right now, so he kind of gets pretty aggressive. I just stay calm, defend, and now I know that it's a good game because he just used a bunch of elixir, and I have my lightning log up. So, good game. And that's what it should look like against Lavaloon, hopefully. So this was another game. I really wasn't going to show this one. It's the best player that I played. I don't know how entertaining of a game it is. I mean, he is, 5,200. He's been almost 5,500 this season. He's kind of playing a newer deck. If you replace that Night Witch with Hog and the freeze with lightning, then you're playing one of the most common metas out there. He switched the Hog with one of the favorite cards right now, which is Night Witch, and switched out lightning for a freeze, and he was trying to kind of make his own take on one of the most popular decks playing right now. This game does not go well for him at all. It's a super easy game. I guess I'll make a compromise and do this at double speed, because I wasn't going to show it just because it was such an easy game, and he makes a big error at the end, which is what wins it. But I'll kind of just show you. The reason I am going to show you this game is because it's a very Night Witch cycle-y deck instead of a Hog cycle deck. And like I told you, this deck counters the Night Witch. So I guess what this game is going to do is it's going to show off how much of a counter to the Night Witch it is. So I told you it was a counter to the Night Witch. I think this game kind of proves to you that it's a counter to the Night Witch. So the Executioner is a nightmare. It's one of the most annoying cards that I face right now. No fun at all to play. So a lot of my strategy revolves around get his Executioner out and attack the other lane. So his Executioner's out, I am going to attack the other lane. So obviously here I gotta defend, but I will eventually attack the opposite lane. Oh, there's the Executioner. So I know he doesn't have it. I figured I'd throw a Hog there, but didn't work out. Oh, there's his Executioner. There's my Hog. He missed with his Tornado. That's what cost him the game. I was going to win it anyway. I mean, clearly I was dominating, but him missing the Tornado meant that I had an easy one. Okay, and this will bring us to our final game. So this was the one I went 12-0 in. This is going to feature I don't think that's what he was playing. Let's see here. Oh yeah, he was playing the Golem meta version. A lot of people have trouble with this because they want a Lightning or Fireball that Night Witch, but then she just turns into bats or minions, and it's just a poor use of your elixir. So this deck is able to get rid of those. The deck that I play is able to get rid of those bats using the Princess. So you'll kind of see that. You'll see my Princess do a lot of defensive work in this game. This is, I think, just a very good instructional game versus a very common meta. So remember our principles. If they play a pump in the middle, it's our job to go after it with the Hog and the Lightning. So that's how we want to start. My Lightning is late here. I should have pre-lightninged, because even if that Mega Minion doesn't come out, Lightning for damage and the Elixir Pump was good enough. but when I saw him counterattack real quick with that dragon, it made me pause for a second. So that's a regret of mine. If I would have laid that lightning, pre-lightning, like the plan was, like the rule is, I mean, that tower might be sitting at 1100 health or something like that. It would have helped with a lot of extra damage. Alright, so here's that first big golem push that we'll see so often. I lay down some skeletons because it'll force his bats and his actual Night Witch to hit some extra stuff. I hope pretty standard stuff. As soon as that golem gets close, bring everything together. Not only will it do damage, but then everything's in one little spot, so my princess can hit everything as well. And then I get a really good counter attack off that as well. So counter attacking with hogs, play defense, counter attack with the hogs. Hopefully you have a log or lightning up. Those are the principles. So here he puts a pump in the back. Not as heavy on attacking that with the lightning, but you certainly could do it. I don't. So again, just like we talked about in that Lava Hound game, he played the golem on the right side. My strategy is to counter attack on the left side to make him use some elixir to defend over there. So again, we did not want to lightning the dragon and Night Witch. We want to tornado, slow it with our ice golem or ice wizard, and then let that princess hit all those bats. So very common, very strong meta he's playing, very common strong deck, and because it is Night Witch heavy, you're seeing it not do very well against our deck because that Ice Wizard and Princess. So another easy game versus a very good player playing a very strong deck. So hopefully that highlighted how strong the Ice Wizard Princess combo is against the Night Witch. So for all you guys who are struggling or mad about how strong that Night Witch is, give this deck a try, guys. It is super strong. It is legendary heavy. Hopefully you have those legendaries. If you do, I highly recommend it. Very, very strong deck. Very cycly, so you can go on the offense with the Hog. Very strong on defense with that Ice Wizard, Night Witch, Princess, Tornado type combo. So hopefully you understand the rules. If I need to explain anything else, or if there's any other decks that you're having trouble with when you're playing this deck, let me know. I can try to make a follow-up video with maybe some of the decks that you're struggling with, or if there's any other decks that you play that are in the meta that you're having trouble with, go ahead and post it, and I'll play it and see how I can do, and hopefully kind of give you a tutorial with a deck that you play. If not, if I don't see any good comments for deck suggestions, I'm probably going to play some kind of beatdown deck, probably with a Night Witch, just because she's so popular right now. I might even play that one that I just faced the last game, just because that's such a strong common meta. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for staying tuned. Another long video. Please comment on whether these long videos are too hard to stay paid attention to, if I should split them up into multiple videos. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'm doing this for you guys, so all your comments will be read and taken into consideration. So thanks again, guys. This is Tactics signing off. Have a good night. Bye-bye.